Hello everybody, this is White Wolf, and I wanted to talk about taking control over your energy and not just going sporadically with your spots, going sporadically with your emotions, just going all willy-nilly with everything and just reacting to everything, and instead by being proactive. So if you're coming onto this live, I wanted to talk about taking control of your energy without really being controlling or trying to restrict the flow of energy that is coming in, and allowing yourself to just be an open channel to the divine, to where when we have troubling times or we have something in our life like a circumstance that kind of tries to throw us off our game, that tries to throw us back into giving our power away to something, or just allowing ourselves to be very angry about something, or allowing ourselves to miscalculate our thoughts or assume something, assume a position, assume a victim mentality, a false identification of yourself. And it's allowing you to step away from that and take control of your energy and not to allow your energy to be scattered in a sense. So also let me know if the connection is good. I hope that you guys can leave comments, and also if you want to book private sessions, you can do that as well for psychic readings, healings, activations. So I hope this live is going good. Just let me know if the connection's going in the comment section. But I wanted to go live because taking control of your energy is making an empowered statement. It means that you are not the suffering. You are not this lack. You are not this non-vibratory nature. You are not this unconscious mind, and you're allowing the subconscious mind and the conscious mind to come into balance and to become the consciousness. So you realize that consciousness is made of all appearances of light. It's made of the trees. It's made of this light. It's made of this phone that I'm speaking into with my words of wisdom. Words of wisdom generate heart-healing activations. So you understand, by allowing yourself to alleviate the stress of being a human being, is realizing that you have an indication, you have control over your energy. Your energy is your energy. Your consciousness is your consciousness. And the only way that your consciousness can be distorted is if you believe a lie, if you believe the assumptions, if you truly believe that you are not the consciousness. If you're believing all of your unconscious assumptions, and you believe those lack beliefs, and you believe before you do something that takes a lot of care, a lot of focus, a lot of concentration. Like, let's say that you want to get on a roller coaster ride. Like, I remember me and my girlfriend, I was eating a hot dog and I wasn't done eating, and she's like, let's go on this roller coaster ride. And it was like this swing set, and it went like 5 or 10 stories up. I think it was 10 stories, because she was like, oh, it's only 5 stories up. No, it was like 10 stories. And I don't like heights. I don't like roller coasters. I'm not a big fan of them. They kind of make my stomach feel kind of weird. But when you allow yourself to just be thrusted into a situation spontaneously, it generates more excitement. Even in the midst of that situation, it feels like, oh, I'm gonna give my power away. I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna lose my emotions, and they're gonna go cattywampus. I'm gonna be a scattered consciousness. And then for a moment, you allow yourself to immerse yourself within the bliss of the experience, and changing the experience itself, and changing the manifestation of that acknowledgement of seeing that you don't have to tap into that energy. You don't have to align your vibration to that distorted vibration of assuming that you're that victim. You have to lose that identification when you're in that experience of it, because every experience should be joyful. It should be calm. It should be collected. It should be that set experience. Because the experience wouldn't have been attracted to you if it wasn't for you, and if it wasn't made to design a lesson, to design your life as if you're building a big skyscraper, and it's filled with intricate ways of seeing and breathing and creating. And it takes every little brick, every little window, every little paint job that it takes to make your designed reality to be perfected, to be aligned, and it allows you to see from a different vantage point, and allows you to see that every time that we use our channeled ability, we allow ourselves to be the channel of it. We allow ourselves to be the channel of God's source energy. So we don't allow ourselves to get muddled within all the little details. We don't allow ourselves to get muddled within all of these thoughts, emotions, and all these things that don't really represent who we are. But now we're tapping into more of the representation of Source. And we allow Source energy to come very strongly and to invoke that sense that you are the voice of Spirit, that you allow yourself to be a channeled spirit of the divine. You allow yourself to follow that alignment to the point where you understand that you have the ability and you have the empowerment to take charge and to take ownership and accountability, and to know that you can control your energy and you can control your actions and you can control your emotions. You can control all of how you perceive reality. You get to dictate what goes on within your reality. You get to dictate how your reality happens. You get to dictate how it is made manifest. And a lot of people don't feel like they have the power to change their reality or change themselves, or they're struggling with an illness or struggling with an addiction. But all of those things that happen within our life, circumstances, challenges, trials, tribulations, any of those things that happen, they are not making us a victim. They're not making us suffer. Everything that we go through for a reason. We go through it with transcendent reason. We go through it because it is the reason why we exist. It is the reason why we are here. It's the reason why we get to channel this authenticity. We finally get to tap back into love, and we finally get to be that sense of love once again. And we allow ourselves to heal each day, and we allow ourselves to let go and to accept this courageous opportunity that we're here to be a free agent of free will, and we get to be the psychic fully realized, the ascended master within. You get to be an oracle that channels its guides, its higher self to the physical body to not limit the physical mind. You realize that you're part of a council, of a federation of light workers. So you're a part of this federation, you're a part of this foundation, you're a part of this growing nature of prophets that want to know themselves again. They want to escape the reality that they're in and immerse themselves into a new reality. So a lot of times people are like, oh, you're delusional. You're trying to escape reality. What does that mean? Well, you're trying to escape the false sense of reality, the false self, the imposter reality, because you are not your birth name. You are not the physical body. You are not all of these things in society that we've generated as norms. A man and a woman doesn't have to be a certain way. So all of these things are just based on opinions because they're not based on actual conscious truth, which is resonance. But when you feel the energy of source energy, when you feel the truth of what it is, when you can see past the deception, see past the illusions that are being presented, and you're able to exit out of them and immerse yourself within another parallel aspect of yourself, in your realities, in your manifestations, and you allow yourself to tap into a sense of quantum jumping. So every time that you're quantum jumping, you are exiting something, you're healing something, you're separating yourself from something. And now you are tapping into many different types of truth. Objective truth. Receptive truth. You allow yourself to be receptive to the truth that is here, that is present, that feels most in alignment now. And you're led by what is most passionate now. What is most passionate am I about? What inspires me at this exact moment? Maybe you want to start running 20 miles, but you can't do it if you're not feeling the passion and the desire and the inspiration to absolutely go after it. You're not going to run 20 miles. I've been running 50 laps in my driveway. I've been pushing myself to run again because I used to run cross country. And I've been doing a cardio routine, so every morning when I get up, I do that cardio routine, so I already done something because I force myself to do it. And sometimes it's almost like forcing yourself to do something. But it's not like you're forcing yourself to do something that you don't love. but force yourself to do something that you do love. Because when you force yourself to do something that you love, then it's already done. And then you have so many other things that you can do because you've already done that one thing that was very hard and challenging and thought-provoking and took a lot of focus and concentration, but you already got it done. It's kind of like when you were a kid and you had this big, humongous chore list. And you had to get all this stuff done. You're like, oh my God, this is going to take me forever. And then you realize that it only took you 2 hours. And it didn't take you as long as you thought it was going to take you. Because we already gave off the vibration that, this is a drag. I need to do this, but I don't want to do it. And then, because I used to procrastinate a lot as a human being, and I think most human beings do it. It's not a negative thing. Everything that was negative that we used to do, we can reinforce it in a very positive way. So just because something that you did a long time ago was very negative, it actually made you discover a positive trait about yourself. It made you empower that negative vibration that you were tapping into. So if it was like procrastination, or you felt like you were lazy, or you felt like you don't need to feel terrible, because I know in my life that I felt very negative and pessimistic most of my life. I will say that. Not that I didn't have fun and that I didn't laugh, but, and I used like my comedic way about myself to generate the sense like I'm trying to run away from it. But that doesn't work either, because then you put it back into your subconscious, and then all of a sudden it kind of hits you in the face. And then maybe your inner child misses you. Maybe your masculine really wants to greet you. Maybe your feminine really wants to greet you. So don't think that your feelings are necessarily terrible, because your feelings are not terrible. Your feelings are the best things about you. But when we awaken, we actually know how to feel and how to be proactive and receptive to our emotions instead of reacting to them and fighting against them. So, and that's the only way that we can really heal, is if we don't fight against the currents of what we are. If we don't fight against who God wants us to be. And not going against your channel, not going against healing, not going against what makes you feel impassioned. And if you're really sick of something, just make that bold decision and know that you might make a radical change, and it might set off a chain of reactions and events and signs and miracles and confirmations. And it might do that. It might set off this domino effect. It might generate a lot of different manifestations and experiences and people and relationships. But it will feel good once you do it. Once you take the reins over your consciousness. Once you don't put the cart before the horse, if you will. Because I think as human beings, that's what we do. We always put the cart before the horse. And then we always shoot ourselves in the foot repeatedly as humans, because we want to keep prolonging our suffering and giving off this sense of this identification of how we are victims, of how we are a victim to, like something somebody said, when nobody can make you feel bad. We only feel bad if we allow ourselves to feel bad. So allow yourself to feel passionate about something. Allow yourself to wake up with that grace, with that blessing. Allow yourself to give yourself to the universe. Give yourself to God. Give yourself to love and living and laughing and enjoying life. So I think the way that we try to motivate ourselves is actually in a negative sense. Because people think that it's cringy. People think that motivating yourself or being empowered or loving life and enjoying and laughing and letting go and allowing the vulnerable sense of releasing energy and allowing yourself to be receptive, to be true to your vibration, and knowing that it is not about what we physically always feel. It is allowing the physical and the non-physical to be here, to be now, to be present, and to be courageous enough to not just be based in opinions and to not just be based in what we call facts in a sense, but to be aligned to what feels absolutely truthful, so that we can feel the truth of what is, and then that we can be all that there is, that we can be everything. So we're not lacking anything. We're not this or that. We're not anything that is just a solid object. We're reversing reflection so that we can get out of the sense of what we think is true. And then we actually see the truth of what we are is just breathing it in. It's allowing it to flow. It's allowing it to generate. It's allowing it to permeate, and to not restrict that flow. So you don't have to feel as if it's an opinion or it's a fact. No, it's just truth. And if someone doesn't resonate with it, then they can find their own truth. But that's what the point of this whole video. That's how someone finds their own truth, because they're not just listening to people. They're not listening to their mom and dad. They're not listening to somebody on a television. They're not listening to the news. And they're not just listening to anybody, but they're listening to their heart, and they're following their heart, because they're letting go of the brain, because the brain can't be the source of how it solves your problems. It doesn't solve your problems at all. Your brain always fails you. But when you allow that heart to be aligned to the brain, you allow yourself to be connected to the mind, the body, and the soul. So you allow yourself to see that when you do this, you become a cell. You become psychic atomic energy. You become an electromagnetic kinetic source energy. And you become cause-driven. You live by changing the different causes and effects in your life. You start to change the polarity. You start to change the direction of your cosmic compass, if you will. So it's like someone said psychic atomic energy, that isn't Christian. And you would be right, because I'm not a Christian. So, and that's what it means, is that everybody here is very essential. Everybody here, as a Christian, as a scientist, everybody is sacred in their own way. But if we shut that out and we're not receptive to it, then we have lost the narrative. So you have to generate your own narrative. You have to live by the theme of what makes you who you are. And you have to understand that you can be the author of your life if you really want to be. If you want to be inspired, if you want to be empowered. But if you want to be disempowered and you want to be lacking of something, if you want to be a part of suffering and you want to be a part of absolute nonsense, then go ahead and do it. And it's fine, because humanity has been going in that direction for quite some time. And that's why there is a great spiritual awakening, because everybody's awakening to their gift. If someone's very good at telekinesis, they're able to use that gift to bless someone. If someone plays music, they're able to bless someone with that music. Everybody is a blessing in their own way. And we can't shut out that blessing that is meant for that individuated creation. So you allow yourself to see that it's not just one way to God's source energy. It's not one way to be blessed. It's not one way to manifest. There are even actors who manifest at great speeds and great rates. It's like Matthew McConaughey wrote everything he wanted in his life. He wrote it down on a piece of paper. And he said, I wanted this, and I wanted that, and I wanted this to happen, and I want to win this award, I want to make this movie. And it all happened. It didn't happen right when he wrote it down, but he was prophesizing what he wanted. He was aligning the stars in the vision and the outline of that deep water horizon, that Mona Lisa that he was perfecting and creating and allowing the flow of creation. So it's as simple as that. Just dream, just imagine, just allow yourself to see that it can be a dream if you want it to be. It can be magical if you want it to be magical. So it's not just about like psychics. It's not just about Christians. It's not just about scientists. It's all of us. God has paved a way for every one of us to be who we want to be, and knowing that we have absolute control over how we feel, of how we go about this journey, of how we interact with human beings, with grace, with dignity, and integrity, because we're trying to accept one another. If you can't accept yourself, you will never accept another person. If you don't know how to love yourself, you'll never accept another person. So you allow yourself to see that it's not just one way, but it's all paths lead to God. And I truthfully believe that within my heart, to the point where I absolutely know it. Because that's a play on words. So instead of just believing, because believing is just, oh, I just believe this thing mindlessly. But how can you absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt that's what you want in your life? How can you know that you want the stars to align? How do you know that you can have the perfected reality? Know it in your heart, and it will be done for you. Know that if you just love more, if you're more sensitive, if you're more vulnerable, if you change your actions, your causes and effects, and the way that you subtract out of your life and the way that you add in your life, everything will be reflected back to you. So we have to reverse those reflections, and we have to see how we can counterbalance everything within our life. So we allow ourselves to counterbalance all of the negativity, and we allow the positivity to counterbalance all of that negativity. So now some people are like, oh, you're crazy. That's fine. And I love you for it. It's okay if you don't like what I say or not receptive. You don't have to watch. But that's the beautiful thing. You heard what I said and it wasn't truthful to you, but maybe that's not meant for you. And that's beautiful in and of itself. So anybody can be a superstar of their own life. Everybody can be the actor of their own life. So it's like, you could say John Wayne or Tom Cruise, or people like in the comment section it said Jim Carrey. They're still Jim Carrey, they're still Tom Cruise, they're still John Wayne, but they're a different channel of John Wayne. They're a different channel of Tom Cruise. He's playing a different character in this movie. It's a different setting. It's a different environment. It's a different way of actualizing who you are and expressing who you are and leading by that truth, but also it's tapping into many aspects of yourself to where it's not just one entity. It's every aspect of yourself that knows itself. The monad, the I am presence, the brothers, sisters, / daughters, and cousins that are in different realms and different planes and different universes that are connecting with you. So that's what I mean when like Tom Cruise is not always just Tom Cruise. He's someone else. He's, in The Firm, or he's in Days of Thunder where he's a race car driver. And I don't know if he meditates or whatever, and there's obviously negative things about him with his Scientology, but if you took how he has fun in his life when he's jumping out of a plane and he's just in the sky and he's just like, he's just feeling it, right? He's happy in the sky when he's jumping out of an airplane and pulls the parachute, and he's having fun while he's doing his stunts and has the spatial awareness to do it. Now, you can drop all the negative things and see a person and see like a wealthy person. Like, okay, but if I downgrade myself to look at that wealthy person with judgment and condemnation, then I've lost the narrative, right? So Tom Cruise might have negative things about him, but there's traits about him and the things that he does do that can be positively reinforced. And you can implement it within your life and see, like if you wanted to free dive, if you wanted to do that and you were passionate If you felt passionate about doing that, you couldn't have the fear overtake you, or the negativity, or the doubtfulness, or the fear of dying in order to do that. Or any of the stunts that like Tom Cruise does when he's like ramping off of a 100 feet ramp, and then there's like a 500-foot dip into the mountains, right? Well, he has to have courage. He has to truly believe that he can absolutely pull it off. So if you can implement that in a positive way, to where you wholeheartedly just believe in yourself in the midst of doing something that is very challenging, something that is very scary, something that most people would not do, and if they saw you doing it, they were like, you're absolutely crazy. But you had the grace, you had the blessing, you had the tenacity and the will to do that said task, to do the passionate thing that seemed hard, doing the most aligned thing when it seemed absolutely crazy and people tried to talk you out of it. They tried to say that you can't do that. Why would you do that? Why would you move to Arizona if you really wanted to buy a house in Arizona and you sold this house and everything fell through? And then suddenly you were able to move to Arizona and you had a brand new house. You had everything brand new. So crazier things have happened, right? But it's realizing that you can have whatever you want. You just have to absolutely not give a fuck about the opposition. You cannot give a fuck about the negativity. You cannot care about what comes against you, because you know that you have the divine within your soul, within your heart, and you have the grace and the anointing to go through with it, and the willpower to regain your free will again, the power to control your energy. So, we're going to do a meditation. It's very, very cold out here. I have like 3 jackets on. It's very cold here in South Carolina, but we're going to do a meditation to reinforce the message and stuff like that. So if you guys would like to book private sessions as well, you can do that as well. I have 2 links down below. And also, if you receive this meditation, if this message blessed you, check me on YouTube, White Wolf the Oracle of Loveline Wisdom, Instagram, whitewolf4741, and BitChute, whitewolf the Oracle 23_@. So if you are taking part in this message, God bless you and namaste. And if you can't stay, that's okay too. Okay. So everybody take a deep breath. Exhale. And think of the choices or the crazy circumstances that are laid out for you, like jumping out of a plane. Can you have absolute bliss out of jumping out of a plane? Can you have absolute bliss about free diving? Can you feel at peace doing something that seems hard, that seems challenging, that otherwise would promote the negativity within your life, or would reinforce the panic, reinforce the lack of will, and you totally disregarded that, and you totally ignored that. And you might have felt it for a moment, tried to come up into your energetic field, but you were like, no thank you, I'm not going to see that today. And you deflected it, but not the way that we normally view deflection. Not like you were running away from it, but you weren't allowing it in your energetic field. You were making that bold statement by the very fact that you have control over your energy. So you have control over your life. You have control over your energy. You have control over how you feel and how you want this day to go. Someone has probably never told you that you have control over your energy. You can control the way you feel. Your emotions, your triggers, your sensitivities, your lack of vulnerability, your lack of masculine or feminine is non-existent, because you know that you're able to work on yourself, you're able to be accountable, you're able to be dedicated to your vibration, but also you stay aligned to what feels truthful within your heart. As humans, we have adopted these things called opinions, or we have adopted these things called facts, and I'm using quotation marks, because usually they're just projections, they're just assumptions, they're just things that we feel are true, instead of knowing what can shatter and pierce through the veil of that illusion, of what we know is true within our hearts, within our minds, within our bodies. And we're able to look at it not by being opinionated, but looking at it objectively, but also looking at it from a sense of being proactive. And not letting the distorted filters be the indication of what's driving us. Because when we awaken, we have to clean the filter. It's like I have a pool, and sometimes you have to get the leaves out of the filter. You have to get the gunk out of the filter. You have to clean out the filter. So just visualize yourself like you are a pool, and you got to clean the pool, you got to scrub it, you have to get the leaves out of the filter. When you're doing that, that's a sense of purification. In a sense, you have to feel as if you're cleaning house, in a sense. Because you are a temple of God. And you have to treat yourself as such. So with the self-care, with the self-love, with this truth that you're accumulating, and also encapsulating your vibration by overwhelming it with not giving in to the projections, giving into the assumptions, giving into what limits us, what makes us panic, what makes us give up, what makes us feel small. What makes us not want to stick with it, in a sense. And focusing on centering, on grounding yourself, on alleviating what doesn't want to remain true, of what doesn't want to reveal itself, or what is not allowing you to change or flow with your energy or be receptive. You have to let that stuff go. And by doing this, you increase the invocation and also the invitation of allowing the great things into your life, the good stuff, the laughter, the love, the teachable moments, and remaining teachable, and applying your vibration. Not just say like, oh, I'm going to do it, but actually just do it and kind of force yourself to do it. And then once you do it and it's already done, then you have so many other activities that you can do. but you're making it a celebration. You're making it fun. You're making it imaginative, in a sense. And by feeling that sense of release, because you're allowing yourself to have a sense of relief, because you're releasing and you're adding something in to your electromagnetic kinetic source energy. You're allowing yourself to receive that cosmic abundance and allowing yourself to quantum leap and then start quantum jumping. Because quantum leaping, you went from 10 feet to 20 feet. But then when you're quantum jumping, you're able to be omnipresent with every type of state of being, with every type of essence, with every type of language of light. But whenever you have that sense of presence and being present with the light, the love, the wisdom of being that oracle, you allow yourself to be your prophetic nature. You allow yourself to be the prophet realized. You allow yourself to generate miracle signs and wonders. And knowing that the divine is always around you and that there's always magic that we're missing in everything that we do, whether it's watching TV, whether it's just meditating, whether it's just going on a walk, whether it's maybe even doing the simplest of tasks. But there is serendipity in the serenity of simplicity, and there is a complexity that is generated from it. And this may sound corny, but when your vibration is not in flow, it's a big no-no. That's an easy thing to put within your vocabulary. When your vibration is not in flow, it's a no-no. But when it is in flow, it's a go-go. It's ready to roll. It's ready to rock. It's ready to ignite that flame, that sacred flame that we all have inside of ourselves. It's just waiting for us to light the match and, burn that flame. Be that light. Be that vibration. Be that sense of worthiness. Be that empowerment. Be that essence. So everyone, take one last deep breath. Exhale. So when I snap my fingers, you'll come back to. You'll have a greater sense of clarity. You will know who you are, and you will become the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, which is God manifested in the human body. And so it is. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this live feed. I hope that meditation was very foundational for you. I hope it inspired you. I hope it empowered you. And also, you can find me on YouTube, White Wolf, the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom, Instagram, whitewolf4741, BitChute, White Wolf, the Oracle, 23 _ @symbol. And also, you can book private sessions with me as well. I have two links down in the description. So also, you can message me on TikTok as well. Enjoy the messages anytime, anywhere, wherever you are at. The energy is still the same. And I feel very blessed to go live and to see you guys and to just to be able to speak into your guys' lives and be a part of the growing nature of consciousness. So thank you so much. God bless. And namaste.